Hey, what's going on, guys? Patriot Prime here once again with another episode of the SITREP. And my guest tonight is Knick-Knack from KnickKnack's Plastic Planet. Knick-Knack, how are you doing tonight, sir?
I am doing great, Patriot Prime. How you doing, buddy? It's great to have you.
Doing well. Got another winter storm warning coming in just in time for the weekend, as usual.
Oh, yeah. We just got hit. I'm in Denver and Colorado, and we just got hit by a foot of snow last night. So I'm right there with you, man. I'm feeling that pain.
We were at 70s yesterday. I got home from work. I'm in shorts and a T-shirt. And today it dropped to the 50s, and then tonight, snow warning or winter storm warning.
Yeah, those are the worst, man. Those are the worst. That gives you the nice sinus, headaches from that barometric pressure doing all that weird shit, you know.
Advil and water, baby. Keeps me Well, first off, before we get started, why don't you tell my viewers a little bit about you? Because I know you're not strictly a Transformers guy, so a lot of my guys probably haven't heard about you before. And just lay it all out. Knick-Knack has a hilarious channel, guys. You guys, if you like my personality, times 10 with him right here.
Oh, I don't know about that, but I really appreciate it. And thanks for the love. And once again, Jason, thanks so much for having me on. Most importantly, I really do appreciate it. Yeah, my name is Knick-Knack. I have a channel called KnickKnack's Plastic Planet right here on YouTube, and I kind of run the gamut as far as a collecting channel goes. I do focus a lot on Star Wars. That's sort of my number one focus, but I do have an extensive Transformers collection. I collect DC comic memorabilia. I collect Star Trek. I collect 80s memorabilia. I collect arcade one-ups. Those get a lot of views on my YouTube channel. It's crazy. But yeah, and I just try to keep things real light. My channel is less of a review channel and more of a collecting vlog. It's kind of just sort of my journey through this kind of absurd hobby that we have. That's, being a 45-year-old man buying plastic toys and dolls and shit. And but I love it, and I love this hobby, and I love everyone that I've met in this hobby. And it's a great community, whether you're talking Star Wars, whether you're talking Transformers, whether you're talking DC collectibles or Star Trek or whatever. It's just a great online community overall. And yeah, I just really, it's awesome to be a part of it. I've been doing YouTube for about 4 years now. And just past 1,000 subscribers. My channel's grown slow, but it grows strong. And so yeah, I have a good time on my channel. But once again, thanks for having me on, though.
Oh, you are welcome. I've been watching you for quite some time. And like I said earlier, very entertaining. And you have such a great comedy aspect to your channel. And I told Knick-Knack a while ago, it reminds me of Mystery Science Theater 3000. After a while, you have to tell everybody about Coppabot. I know Coppabot showed up during the whole Coppa thing.
Yeah, he's right. He's right back there. If you can see him, there's Coppabot.
Awesome.
Yeah, he's on the charger station. And yeah, I do. Coppabot is sometimes my co-host on the channel, and he has sort of a bad personality. He's a bit of an a-hole, but yeah, he showed up during the whole Coppa scare that all us collector toy channels had about a year ago here on YouTube. Coppa stands for the Child Online Protection Privacy Act, I think, and we all had this scare that the Federal Trade Commission was going to come and basically fine every single one of us $40,000 for allegedly marketing direct advertising to underage children or something. It was a big scruffle, nothing burger in the end. Yeah. And Coppabot kind of represents that scare that we all went through. He's sort of a metaphor.
We all have that great intro going, my channel is not for kids.
Yep, that's where that comes from, is the Coppa scare of 2019. So yeah, for sure.
And what sucked, I think that's when I had just hit my stride. And I'm like, yeah, I'm pulling numbers. Oh, they're going to cancel me.
Yeah, I felt the same way. I was pretty freaked out for a while too. I actually went and watched a guy who did a Lego channel, and he had like 1 million subs, and he was freaking out about this whole Coppa thing at the time. And I'm like, holy shit, this guy's got 1 million subs. He's a Lego channel. This guy talked to a lawyer, and that's what scared me. And then like 3 weeks later, he was like, yeah, I kind of overreacted. It was really not a big deal. I'm like, dude. So
our buddy Larkin here, he's in the chat. He did a good video. He did a lot of research on it too, because there was a lot of us that kind of created our channels at the same time, and we all befriended each other and kind of look out for each other. And he really dug deep for us and kind of realized we're okay. We know our audience.
Yeah. You know, once I kind of got level-headed about it, and you know, another YouTuber that was kind of level-headed about it at the time was Shoutouts Prime. I'm sure you know who Shoutouts Prime is.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty level-headed about it, and he like posted the actual Federal Trade Commission documents. And when you start reading into that, like I downloaded it, printed it, read it all. I mean, I'm not a lawyer. I took some law classes in college, but I'm not a lawyer. But I read through it. I'm like, I think I'm okay here. So
I mean, honestly, how many lawyer videos did you watch during that stuff?
Oh God, it was a sweepstakes for them, because I was like, well, they're just going to keep making videos and tell us like to keep worrying about this because they're just going to get more hits. So
my boss thought I was studying for my bar. I was watching so many lawyer videos.
Right.
And it was just like,
right. But anyway, that's where Copabot came from. But now he's just kind of a fun co-host on my channel. So.
All right, well, we'll get started with our questions because I know, well, it's late for me. I don't want to keep you too late.
Oh, I hear you.
We are going to do, I've got 10 questions for you, and then we'll lead on into the audience if they have anything. First 5 questions. Well, for those of you that don't know, how the SITREP works is I have 5 questions for my guest regarding Transformers, and then 5 questions regarding him as a YouTuber. So with question number 1, sir, and you're my age, so this answer is usually always the same. What's the appeal of Transformers for you?
The appeal of Transformers, you know what? When I was a kid and I first saw Transformers and GoBots, you know, I was really in this, like, that was like around 1984. And I was still like, you know, totally, you know, still, you know, sniffing the rubber cement of Return of the Jedi at that point. And you couldn't have convinced me to get into anything else at that point. But I did have some family, you know, because GoBots and Transformers were becoming really popular in 84. I did have some family that would send me, you know, a GoBot or a Transformer for birthday or Christmas and stuff. So I had a couple, but I really wasn't into it until I saw this guy on the shelf at my KB toy store. And that is, of course, Generation 1 Grimlock. And, you know, my mind exploded when I saw this guy. I mean, it was just like my hair blew back. I mean, holy shit. It's like my, you know, 2 of my favorite things. It's like a dinosaur and a freaking robot. Because, you know, I was a Star Wars fan. So naturally, you know, I was, you know, all up in, you know, C-3PO and R2-D2 and that sort of thing. So this thing really blew my hair back. So this was my first like blush at the world of the Transformers. What really sold me on it, though, was probably, like a lot of people our age, was Transformers the movie, the 86 film. I had watched a couple, you know, at that age, I was watching a couple episodes of the, you know, Transformers on television, you know, in the afternoons. But going to see Transformers the movie blew my hair back. It was like the biggest cinematic experience of my young life. I was probably 10 years old, but it was probably the biggest cinematic experience of my young life since seeing Empire Strikes Back. That's how big it was for me. It just the amount of lore and the amount of mythology that kind of went into that film, and the fact that they anthropomorphized these robots to the point where they were like people, but they were still robots, and it really just blew my hair back. And what I also loved about that movie was the fact that it had such balls. I mean, they went in there and they killed the entire 1984 toy line right in front of our faces. And, you know, I wasn't really married to those characters, so it wasn't like, I wasn't like really upset about it. I was just concerned about, you know, old Grimlock getting out of there unscathed, and he did. And, you know, so that alone just like cemented it for me. I'm like, yeah, this is something that I really want to be into. And so, you know, it took a lot to pull me out of the grips of the Star Wars craze as a kid, but Transformers did it.
Well, that's me. I told Knick-Knack earlier, my office that everybody sees in all my videos, this was half and half. Half of my room was Star Wars when I started. And now you can see Vader up there on the top shelf, and all the rest of my Star Wars is in that corner behind the bookshelf, and everything else is in storage. It's just the Transformers have totally taken over. Now, I never got to see the movie in the theaters. My first experience with the movie was the Marvel graphic novel.
Okay.
Living in Podunk, West Virginia, you know, we had one movie theater. We never got anything. And I never really saw the cartoon that much unless I came. It's funny, the house I'm living in right now is my grandparents' house. I would come visit them here in town, and that's when I'd see Transformers on WGN Chicago.
Okay.
You know, every afternoon at like 5 o'clock or whatever.
Yeah.
So my G1 fiction was Marvel Comics, but still I had that same shock. Of course, I think Prime died in the comic adaptation the same time they killed him off in the comic book series as well. So,
right.
like, I got to deal with him dying twice.
And I love Optimus Prime a lot, but at least in the movie, in Transformers the movie, Optimus Prime went out like a warrior, man. In the comic, it was so limp. I mean, he basically got like tricked into like destroying himself because he lost a video game or something with Megatron, as I remember. Yep. And he like auto destructed, and they kept his personality on a floppy disk. That's so 80s, but yeah.
I did not know floppy disks could hold that much information.
Apparently they can.
Oh, so much stuff in the 80s revolved around floppy disks. I remember so many cartoons as the fate of the world is on this disk.
Yeah, right.
Love it.
Yeah, and that disc couldn't hold a copy of Dig Dug, I mean,
All right. Well, question number 2. Aside from G1, which is always the number one answer, what's your favorite Transformers fiction?
That's tough. Well, here's the thing. Is to me, Transformers, there is only G1 is Transformers to me. And, I don't dally, and no disrespect to people who do. I know a lot of 90s kids and 2000 kids grew up with different renditions of the Transformers, and we all have our preferences based off of when we grew up. But I don't dally in Armada or Energon or Robots in Disguise or any of those. But I do like different variances of G1. There was a great comic book series in the early 2000s by Dreamwave Comics. It was G1. But it wasn't. It was G1 inspired more than it was G1.
That's where they found the Decepticons buried in the ice in Alaska.
Yeah, I think
they were leaving Earth and they crashed.
Yeah, the Dreamwave went out of business, and then the comic just stopped abruptly, and it was horrible. Because then IDW picked up the license after that. But I really enjoyed those Dreamwave Generation 1 inspired comics. I also really do dig the new Netflix stuff. The War for Cybertron. The War for Cybertron trilogy. Here's my Optimus Prime from that. I like the box art on that, by the way.
Oh, that's the Kingdom one.
Yeah,
that's a great figure.
Yeah, I'm not even opening it because it looks so good in the damn box. Like, I reviewed this on my channel and I said, guys, I can't open it. It's just so beautiful, But
I've got 3 versions of that mold now.
I bet you do. It's a beautiful mold. I'm more of a masterpiece guy, and so this scale, this feels redundant to me. Having the MP10 Optimus Prime, this feels a little redundant. But I bought it for the box, and I don't usually buy shit for the box, but I bought this for the box because it's just so damn beautiful. Look at Prime there. Look at. Can I get over there? He is. Look at Prime there. Oh, it's so beautiful, man. So yeah, I mean, we could just keep doing we could do the rest of the live stream just like this, and your viewers wouldn't miss a thing, man. Because they'd probably rather see that than my ugly mug.
I don't have any boxes. All mine are open.
Well, you gotta review that shit, man. I get it.
But I tell you, these Kingdom figures, brother, they are mini masterpiece figures. They're just amazing what they can do. Oh yes, there's my Firetox weapon. Quick shout out to Firetox.
That is beautiful. And
this is right now my number 1 figure for the year. Granted, we're only 2 months in, but that's my number 1 for the year right now.
That is beautiful. I actually ordered the speaking of Cyclonus, I actually just ordered the I think the X Transbots third party that's coming out in August, I think from TF Source. I love TF Source. Not that I don't, not to plug them or anything on your channel, but that's a great website.
I'll plug who you want.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Toyhax.
Yeah, I'm such a little YouTuber that they wouldn't know, but I love TF Source. So
I've got a lot of stuff pre-ordered from Big Bad Toy Store, and I think that's where pre-orders go to die. I've got like this list of pre-orders, and everything was due in February. Tomorrow's the last day of February. I have nothing.
I like Big Bad for their variety, and they've got a great selection of just all kinds of IPs in there. But their shipping feels really slow to me. Like when I get something shipped from Big Bad, it's like, oh, that's going to come in like a week and a half, Now, the last thing I ordered that Titans Return Scorponok, not Titans Return, Lord. Shit, what was he called? Earthrise Scorponok. Yeah.
And I had him in 3 days.
That's great. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way. Maybe it's just where I live. I think they're out of the Midwest, like Minnesota or something. But I don't. For whatever reason, it's like I think they put mine on like they strap mine to the Pony Express, and the guy has got to stop every 10 miles to water the horse. I don't know, because it feels like when I order from them, it takes a while. But it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, I got that Scorponok too. That's a great piece.
Oh, he's awesome. I'm waiting on the upgrade kits. That's one of the big bad toy store pre-orders I have with the giant gun and all the different weapons and accessories.
Yeah, I watched the review of that piece on your channel, man. That was an event. That was great when you reviewed that.
Did you see the bloopers with me and Dylan? I mean, that was a review that took forever.
Well, yeah, but
that's Dylan's favorite video. He and I just when I drop Scorponok and I go, "Oh shit!" he laughs so hard at that.
That's the best. It's good shit, man.
All right. Number 3, do you have a favorite figure or grail? This is a figure you will never let go of. You got to sell your whole collection, but this one's not going anywhere.
Oh, man. Probably just from a nostalgic standpoint, it would be this Grimlock. Because, again, this Grimlock is just so damn special. Yeah, and there's just no other reason outside of just pure nostalgia for this figure. This figure's been through a lot. I mean, this figure took hard playwear. Let me see if I can transform without breaking him. He's 35 years old. But so I want to show
original.
This is my original. This one when I was a kid. There are actually, I don't know if we can. You're gonna see some cracking all along the top of this vacuum gold, whatever that's called. That's from when I put him in the microwave, and when I was a kid. And I mean, he sparked up like a mother. And I was so horrified. I almost blew up the microwave, destroyed my Grimlock. So yeah, he's been through a lot, and like I said, yeah, this is my original from when I was a kid. And
before anybody else asks in the chat, why
did we put him in the microwave? Because I was 10. I didn't say I was a smart kid, but
that was your space bridge.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, exactly.
It's bad. I don't know if I've ever said this or not. I'm sure I have on one of my videos. I traded every G1 figure I had in 1991 for a Super Nintendo.
We all hit that age, man.
And then, then it slowly started coming back. But Grimlock was my first large transformer. My very first transformer was Gears.
Oh, okay.
And my very first transforming robot was a GoBot Screwhead. He turned into the drill tank.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I found him in a comic store maybe 5 years ago. I was like, I got to get him. I don't care how much he is. That was my first transforming robot.
Right. It's a big thing in my channel. I deal a lot with, we talk a lot about nostalgia on this channel. And, a lot of YouTube channels, a lot of collector YouTube channels talk a lot about, acquisitions and about value of figures and about, the ins and outs, the articulation. I really focus on the story behind the collectible. To me, every single collectible in my collection, and I'm sure a lot of people, watching and you yourself can agree with this, but every single collectible I own has a story. Like I just told about Grimlock here. And, even stuff I bought as an adult, everything has a story, man. Whether it was like something you got as a kid on Christmas morning, whether it was something your college girlfriend gave you, whether it was something you bought on the way home from work after a shitty day, every collectible has a story. And that's what's so great about collecting is this tactile bridge between us and our dreams. And that's what I love so much about collecting. And that's kind of what my channel is about, except I kind of do it in sort of a goofball, self-deprecating way. But
it's funny. This figure right here, I bought him. I just happened to go into Walmart one day, my Walmart that never has anything, and they had the entire wave 1 of Kingdom except the leader figures. So I bought everything, and when I got this Warpath, he was broke in the package. That little pin that they drive through the turret, it would flop around. So of course I'm miffed, and I was like, well, I can't take him back because there is another Transformer collector in this area. I have no idea who it is, but we're buying them those out, and there was no way I could take him back. And one of my subscribers, a guy named Eddie Brennan, saw my video where I just was reaming Hasbro QC, and he sent me this one. So this one's fixed. This was a good one.
Yeah.
And he's from Wales. He sent this from Wales for me.
Oh, Oh, that's awesome.
So, got a hell of a story on this one. And Eddie, there's your another shout out. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, it is. Every collectible has a story, and that's what makes them kind of special. I mean, I'm kind of I say this a lot on my channel, and maybe this is sort of a bad personality trait on my behalf, but I'm kind of a hoarder. I don't like to sell my shit. Like I said, I got almost all my stuff from my childhood. So so to me, it's like, it's like family, pets, then collectibles. You know what I mean? It's like that in that priority order. I mean, like when I get a collectible, it's kind of for life. So
I wish I'd done that. Of course, I'd have more than just this room filled up, but it would get, I'd get a new wave coming in. I was like, okay, well, I'm replacing this one with that one, but I don't do it as much anymore. My big thing was when I first started YouTube, I would buy stuff just to review. And there'd be like, so I don't even like this. So I started kind of reeling it in a little bit. It's like, I don't have to get everything.
Right. Yeah, no, I hear you. The one thing with the YouTube channel is, I try, like one of my things I started YouTube was I told myself, I am not going to go after items just for YouTube. It still has to have intrinsic value to me before I'll buy it. But I tell you what, YouTube sure makes it easier for me to validate buying shit I want. Like, well, I can review it on the channel. So yeah, so there is that angle.
And now that you're monetized, everything you buy that you do a video on is a tax write-off.
Is it really?
Yep.
No shit. I got to ask you about that after the show, man, because that's fantastic.
All right. Well, we are at question number 4 now. What is your white whale? What is your most wanted figure? One that you're still hunting that you're looking for?
For Transformers, since we're talking bots tonight, I have a number of white whales, I guess. But for Transformers, it would be, and I don't think I'll ever own it. I don't think I'll ever get it because that's what a white whale is. Well, you'll never get it. It's got to be Generation 1 Fortress Maximus. Now I have the Titans Return Fortress Maximus, which is great, but it's not the same as the Generation 1. When I was going on 12. My 12th birthday, I actually asked for that piece from my parents, and it was over $100 back then. $100, and that's in $1987. So go get online, type it into an inflation calculator and figure out how much that thing costs in today's dollars. And I wanted that piece. I wanted Fortress Maximus. But again, I was going on it was my 12th birthday, and my mom was kind of leveled with me, and she's like, "Well, Ryan, that's my real name, by the way." But she said, "Ryan, you're not going to be into these things for much longer. You're not going to want toys for much longer. And if you were 8 years old, this was 4 years ago, we would get it for you in a heartbeat. But you're not going to be into these things much longer. And we just kind of feel like we should get you something a little more appropriate for your age, being that you're 12 and you're almost a teenager now. And being a kid and trying to be the grown up, I agreed. I'm like, you're right, Mom. I don't need Fortress Maximus. So for that birthday, I got like a Walkman, and I got I think I got.
Yeah, how's that holding up for you?
Yeah, it's gone. I think I got Bon Jovi "Slippery When Wet" on cassette. Great album, but I think it's gone. But so I didn't get Fortress Maximus. But you know what? To this day, I still have all my Transformers from when I was a kid, and I would still have Fort Max. And so I love my mom, but that's the one time I should have been a spoiled brat. The one time
that was the last Encore figure that Takara released was Encore Fort Max, where they reissued him, and I grabbed one.
Did you really?
I did.
I almost did, but I didn't.
Let me make you sick for a second.
Yeah, please get it. I want to see it. Please get it. This is awesome. Yeah, he was looking around like he was looking for it. This is going to be great.
Oh, he's so heavy.
Oh, be careful. Oh, look at that. Oh, he's so beautiful.
Everybody seeing my West Virginia pants wearing?
You're looking great, man. You are looking great. Did the Takara version come with that, or the Hasbro version come with that big sword, or is that just from the Takara version?
That's from the reissue. I think the Japanese version may have had the big sword.
Okay. So yeah, Larkin's Lair says $100 in 1998 is $220 today. Wow.
Oh, you're getting the subs now, my friend. I got 2 of them tonight.
Oh, guys, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. You know what, my YouTube channel, like I said, it grows real slow. And sometimes my videos like will really spike and hit and do well, and then sometimes I'll get like 100 views on some of them. Like I tried to talk my wife into let me take some sexy pictures of her, and she's like, no, someone will find them. I said, no, we'll just put them on my YouTube channel. No one will see them.
What's funny, my buddy Bert, the Stormtrooper, and I, we were talking the other day about, if we do it right, you got to do those cleavage shots. You in the corner with your figure.
Yeah, that's what we all need to do. We all need to do our own impression of I'm sure she's a sweet person. We all need to do our own impression of Bella's toy chest. But I'm sure she's a wonderful person. I don't have the wares to shop like she does.
Yeah, you got it flying.
Yeah. What I need to do is get on the bench a little more because I am starting to get some, but not in a good way.
You and me both. I hate to admit that up until 8 years ago, I was a fitness instructor. I left the military, got into fitness and stuff, and now I ride a desk.
Dude, I hear you, man. I hear you, dude. I hear you. I was watching one of your early vids. This was a couple years ago. I was watching one of your early vids, and you had the most badass intro. Because I know you're a vet, and thank you for your service, by the way. But you had the most badass intro because you had this shot of you in the desert with an M16 or something, and I was just like, oh my god, this dude is so awesome. Like, this guy collects Transformers. That is so cool.
It was funny when I was in Iraq. I met so many other people that were into this, and back then, you kind of hid this hobby.
Right.
Now it's like, I wear it on my arm.
That is badass, dude. Oh, I love
That's where the channel name came from.
Oh, that makes sense. Dude, that is gorgeous. That is gorgeous. How many hours did that take in the chair? I've never gotten a tattoo before. So
that was 3 sittings at about 5 hours a sitting. But
it's gorgeous. Well done.
Now, it was like our 40th birthday thing. My wife and I decided to go get tattoos for our 40th birthday. Okay. So she's getting buzzed. She's like friggin' biker chick. So she's getting zapped, just sitting there like, do. I'm getting zapped. And I'm like, all right, here's our last Transformer question. What's your favorite Transformer character? This is not a toy. This is a character from any fiction or any media.
Yeah, this is controversial. And maybe, I don't know. Until I was on YouTube a number of years ago, and I found another YouTuber who I know and that's Rodimus Primal. I didn't know there was anyone else in the world that loved Rodimus Prime as much as I did. I love Rodimus Prime, and there's no shade. I love Optimus Prime too. It's a Captain Kirk, Captain Picard argument for me. But for me, like this is also more show and tell here. This is my original Rodimus Prime from when I was a kid. I got this. I was doing a video last night on my Transformers. I kept saying my 9th birthday. Actually, it was my 11th birthday, but I got this for my 11th birthday. And he's still original stickers. He was well played with. I love this figure. But I mean, to me, in Transformers the movie, I mean, Rodimus Prime was the Luke Skywalker character, and he had this Luke Skywalker moment with basically Optimus Prime taking the role of Obi-Wan Kenobi. And it was just such an amazing use of the mythos. It was the matrix of leadership in that film was basically like Excalibur and King Arthur. Only Hot Rod could open it. And
I never thought of it that way. You're right.
Yeah, it was an Arthurian legend kind of moment in Transformers the movie. And I know a lot of people were really disappointed about what happened to Optimus Prime, but he came back, so you got yours. But I mean, I just really loved that moment in the movie. Yes, the Matrix. Especially when Hot Rod is completely outgunned by Galvatron. They're deep in the bowels of Unicron, and Hot Rod is just kind of doing this like hit and run tactics on Galvatron because Galvatron's so massive and powerful. I mean, it would be like Bruce Lee trying to fight a 10-foot giant, and Galvatron gets a hold of him and he's got him by the throat, and he's like, first Prime, then Ultra Magnus, and now you. It's a pity you Autobots die so easily, or I might have a sense of. And then the Matrix opens, and holy shit!
And Stan Bush starts playing.
Yeah, Stan Bush starts playing, and holy shit! And then Peter Cullen, Optimus Prime's arise, Rodimus Prime, and Hot Rod grows like 3 times his size, and he just picks up Galvatron like a sack of potatoes and throws him across the galaxy. I freaking love that moment, man. That's one of my favorite moments in all the movies. And he had such a great coronation and such a great story. And I love the fact that you had a character in a kid's cartoon And I love all the Transformers, but Hot Rod, Rodimus Prime in particular, he actually had a story arc. He was someone who wasn't meant to have the burden of leadership cast upon him, and yet he did. And
they did that so well because for the movie, they just threw Hot Rod in her face. It's like, here's this new character you're going to follow through this whole film.
Yeah, they did.
And they developed him so good. And this is another figure I highly recommend. This is an amazing one because in robot mode, you can't tell he's a Transformer.
Yeah, he's gorgeous. I have him in box over here too. I pretty much buy anything that's G1 Hot Rod is a must buy for me, or Rodimus Prime. But and again, it's not that I don't love Optimus Prime too. I do. But for order to have a great character like Rodimus Prime, you had to have Optimus Prime, and vice versa. Paul's my boy, man. Paul's my boy. He's one of my subscribers. Yeah.
Hi, Paul. Welcome to the channel.
Yeah, Paul's my boy. But yeah, without Rodimus Prime, without Optimus Prime, you don't have Rodimus Prime. And and I just absolutely love that character so much. Again, he has so much, like I said, so much of a Luke Skywalker, King Arthur vibe to him. And in reality, it was so accidental because let's face it, that movie was basically just to discontinue the '84 toy line and bring out the 1986 toy line. That's all it was for.
Well, it was a big epic failure back in the day.
It was a giant infomercial, but it turned into a cult classic. You know what I mean?
Well, it's funny. Like I said earlier, I never saw the movie in theaters, and our local theater's doing this promo where you can rent the theater for up to 20 people for $100, and you can bring your own movie. And I'm thinking for the 35th anniversary of Transformers the movie this spring or this summer, I'm going to rent my theater out and just throw something on Facebook. Hey, 20 Transformer fans, let's watch this movie on the big screen.
You need to do that, man. You need to do that. That would be epic. Yeah, again, I haven't seen it in the theater. I think a company did have it out for the 30th anniversary a couple years ago.
Fathom Events.
Fathom Events, yes.
And it was in Roanoke, Virginia, which is about an hour and a half from me. And the night I was going to go was this horrible rainstorm that flooded the roadway that was me heading out. I was like, son of a bitch. I even had the tickets bought.
Yeah, that sucks, man. That sucks. I thought about doing it, and I should have. I just couldn't get my head.
Please, Cato, come up to West Virginia. You're not that far. That's the worst thing about this is I love the fact we can all talk. Technology's here. It's like you and I are sitting in the same room. But right. I can't wait to meet some of these guys face to face again. I've been to one convention.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I don't get out a lot. I'm kind of just like I'm kind of one of those people that just like to hang out in their basement because this is where all my cool shit is.
Yeah,
so why would I ever leave? And I'm lucky. My wife. This is only half my collection here. This is my arcade/archive room here, and it's pretty much all collectibles there. And then upstairs, there's one more floor upstairs. That's my premium Star Wars room. So that's where I collect Hot Toys and Sideshow Star Wars. And that's displayed up there. So I'm really lucky in that respect.
Well, we've decided we have one extra room in this house that we're using for storage. And now that my son is really getting into collecting things and my wife is into they do Pops and Legos and Imaginext and stuff like that. So I don't know what we're going to do with all the stuff we keep in storage, but we're going to turn that room into a collecting room like this for him. Oh,
that's great. That's great. That's great. Yeah, my oldest teenage son, he's really into Batman, so he collects Batman, and so I did a Batman video with his room a couple years ago, and I got a comment in the comment section from the Guinness Book of World Record holder Batman collector, like the guy with the biggest collection in the world, and he just said nice collection. So that was really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, that was really cool.
All right, well that wraps up our Transformer specific questions. Now let's get on to you as a YouTuber. And these are some of the things I'm interested in knowing, just watching your stuff, is, number 6, what possessed you, a grown-ass man, to do toy reviews on YouTube?
It was a marriage of sorts of my interests. So I've been a collector for years, and I've been collecting crap since 1996. I first started as an adult collector, collecting, like a lot of guys, Power of the Force 2 Star Wars figures. And then it just grew and grew and grew. And then, by the early 2000s, I was back collecting Transformers and just everything. And so I've always been almost my entire adult life, I've been a collector. And it was just sort of a marriage of sorts a couple of years ago after I turned 40, I just kind of decided I needed to do something more unique with my life. I felt like I'd kind of not done enough. And I missed very much. I come from a broadcasting background. I majored in broadcasting in college. I had a radio show at one point. I did drive time radio in Boulder, Colorado for about 6 months. And I did traffic reports in Denver for a while. I did traffic reporting in Denver for a while. And then in my early 20s, I had to reach a decision in my life where I could continue my broadcasting career or I could move out of my parents' basement. And so I opted to move out of my parents' basement, and I still work in broadcasting, but in much more of a behind the scenes kind of way that is a little more equity money to it. Yeah, it is. I wanted to someday get married and everything. So, I kind of gave up my dreams of being, a disc jockey. Or, like when I was younger, I really wanted to be a game show host. I grew up watching Bob Eubanks and Chuck Woolery and Pat Sajak and Alex Trebek. Those were my heroes growing up, were game show hosts. And I was Bob Barker especially. Yeah, no, for sure.
Bob Barker babysitted me so many times when I was sick at the house.
Oh God, yes. So I grew up with all, I wanted to be a disc jockey, a game show host. I did a little bit of stand-up comedy for about 2 years, doing the comedy circuit here in town. Did a comedy.
That explains the channel a little bit more.
A little bit,
You got such a great delivery.
Well, I don't want to say I'm funny. My mom thinks I'm funny, but it's if I say I'm funny, I sound like I'm a narcissist. But, but so I miss doing stand-up comedy. I miss doing radio. I miss doing these things where I was out in front of people. And I figured, well, I kind of saw some YouTubers on some guys on YouTube, doing toy reviews and shit. And like, well, I could do that. And so that's sort of where I started my channel, except I was like, I'm going to take a different approach to this. I'm going to be a little more self-deprecating in my videos. I'm going to be, I don't want to say, one other YouTuber once described me as sort of a parody of review channels. And I don't know if that's accurate or not. And it's not, I don't intend to like be malicious or mean towards other YouTubers or anything like that. I'm not making fun of anybody, but, I don't know. So that's sort of why I decided to start. It was just sort of like I said, sort of a marriage of two passions in my life, buying shit and being out in front of people. So
Curtis, thank you so much. There's actually something that he saw today that I'll get him now. And I'll say it's from you, buddy. Thank you so much.
Aren't those super chats great?
Oh, it's awesome. It gets to you. It's like, okay, I love it. It's just like you're doing something that really means something to these people that they're willing to,
throw you a few bones, man. Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Where were we?
You were talking. I'm sorry, I droned on too much, man.
No, that's fine. I told
blabbering, man.
We derail so bad.
Yeah, no, it's all good. We were just talking about why I do YouTube, I guess, or why I do action figures reviews.
Well, it's funny. For me, starting this channel was a dare. More or less. Before I started doing the job I got now, I was a security officer at a casino at a high-class resort. So I got to toss rich people out on their ass, which was fun. But the guys I worked with, they're all ex-military and ex-law enforcement. And when we had the night off, our family's sleeping, so we're wide awake because we work night shifts. So we were all into playing PlayStations, and we got into Rainbow Six. It was big co-op game, and one of my friends was like, hey, let's do a Twitch channel where we'll play games online live. And I'm like, I suck online games. I'd rather play solo player all day long. And he says, well, you can attach a YouTube to your Twitch. It's like, well, what am I going to talk about? Well, them plastic robots, talk about them.
That's great. That's great.
I must have toyed with that idea for months until I finally thought, let's do it.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
All right. Number 7. What keeps inspiring you to get in front of your camera?
My subscribers.
There you go.
Subscribers for sure. I've got some of the most awesome subscribers. I call my regulars on my channel my super subscribers. They're the ones that are always there. And I don't know, man. It's it's not like they pay me or anything, but I don't do Patreon or anything like that. So there's no monetary expectations, but yeah, I just feel like I owe them content on a weekly basis, and you know, and
are you very interactive with your channel? I mean, I try to reply as much as I can on mine, and if I even don't have a reply, like I do the little heart thing, so
yeah,
I know I at least read it.
yeah, I try to reply to almost every comment that comes across my channel, and in fact, like there's some days where I'll like kind of let my comments slip a little bit, and not respond to them for a few days, and then I actually feel guilty about that. So, it's like a source of guilt for me if I don't respond to everybody, because I kind of feel like if they're bothering to watch my channel and they're bothering to comment on it, I owe them a response.
Exactly. I never want to be one of those where you're never going to hear a reply from me, because
Right.
like you said, the reason I do this is because of you guys.
Right. Exactly. I mean, I can understand the big YouTubers that get 800 comments, 3,000 comments a video. They can't respond to everybody, but I do understand that. But I mean, I certainly don't, I get, 10 responses, 10 comments a video average, maybe a little less. But I definitely do try to keep in front of my subscribers. And
Westerius, the only way to do it, jump in. I mean, it's hard. It's doing a YouTube channel is hard. I mean, a lot of people don't say that. Oh, it must be easy. Just put your toy down and you're talking hands in front of it. I was like, no, you gotta. For me, you have to be different. You have to stand out, and it takes a while to build that base up. I think I hit my 1,000 subs right after my first year. And I got a big jump thanks to Bert the Stormtrooper. Like I said before, we became friends. He gave me a shout out on his channel, and I got like 70-some subs, which put me over the edge. And then once you get your groove and find out what people like, of course, once again, you're talking about the comments. Listen to the people that watch you. I mean, some of them can be assholes sometimes, but then some be like, hey, I like what you do. Why don't you try this way? And that's what keeps you going too. Like, I'll get people that say my intros are too long, but 80% of my subscribers like the story that I have that usually leads into the figure. Hey, I was out toy hunting today, found this hid behind some stuff.
Right.
And so I've always stuck with that. If I get the one or two people, oh, your intros are too long. Okay, I'm sorry I offended you, 2 people.
Right.
But
exactly.
8,000 I have that like what I do, I'm going to keep doing it.
No, exactly. And you're 9 times bigger than I am, so this way more than I do. But in my time on YouTube, that was one thing I was kind of worried about, that I was afraid that, because I'd go on YouTube and I'd read comment sections on channels, and I probably was looking at really big channels, because that's what would show up in my recommendations back then, because I really didn't follow small channels. But I was so afraid to do YouTube, because I was afraid, oh my God, I just get asshole comments right and left. I think in the 4 years I've done YouTube, I've maybe gotten less than I could count on one hand of just really nasty comments.
The worst part for me when I got started was this portion of my name right here would automatically set people off. And I would get the SJW comments just hating on me horribly. And I was like, and I almost quit a couple times. I'm like, no, damn it. I'm not who they say I am. I'm going to keep rolling. And once I got established and they realized, okay, this has nothing to do with Washington. This is military. This is the tattoo on my arm. This is me. It laid off. But man, I used to, to Bert, I would always say, man, look at these assholes.
That's tough, man. That's tough. That's tough.
Oh, now I'm reading everything. Oh, well, we kind of went into this. Question number 8. There are thousands of toy reviewers on YouTube. What makes you different from the rest?
Well, I kind of touched on that a little bit. Again, I don't know if I really review things more so than I just show them off. Every collectible to me is a story. And to me, it's more of a, in a journalistic school of thought, you have the who, what, when, where, and why, and how. And to me, it's more of the why, as far as why I bought this, why I own it, why it's special, why it's going to be in my collection. And that's where I really focus on in my collection, in my videos, is the why. Everything kind of has to have, whether it's something that's something that goes back to my childhood, something that just tickled me from some sort of standpoint. And that's where I really focus on stuff. Also, I'm extremely self-deprecating in my humor. I do make fun of myself a lot on my channel.
What was it? What was your eBay one? Quit drinking and eBaying or something like that?
I think it's boredom in eBay. It was something like that. Yeah. I make fun of the fact that I don't throw things away. I do throw things away. I don't sell things a lot. And so I call myself a hoarder all the time on my own channel. I don't know. I take this. I think this is a really absurd hobby, and not a bad way, but it just is. It's just, we're grown men buying toys. And, and I think we're the first generation to do that. We're 40, I'm 45. I couldn't imagine my father owning all of this when he was 45. You know what I mean?
No, I know to this day, my dad looks at this room of mine and goes,
No, exactly. My channel, I call my production company for my channel, that my self-name, little production company, is Plastic Crap Productions. And plastic crap comes from what my father used. My dad's like, my dad said to me at one point in my 20s, like, why do you waste your money on all this plastic crap?
Hey, these are always called dolls by my dad.
Well, that's
old to be playing with these dolls.
Yeah, so I guess I didn't have it as bad, but
of course you can guess where my dad come from.
Yeah. My dad wasn't a vet, but he was an old school Sears retail manager, and he has some old school philosophies. So I understand that a little bit. So.
All right, where was I? Okay, you kind of touched on this too. What's your thoughts about the Transformers social community, YouTube, Facebook, and do you have any special shout outs? Of course, I think you already hit on our community. We got a great community. Everybody always sees the negatives. I mean, anymore, you mentioned Star Wars and it's all the negative, the firing of people, the ruining of the trilogy and all that stuff like that. But anytime I think of Star Wars, it's the first three, and it's what I grew up on. And
that is the one area right now where Transformers is really kind of a safe haven almost, because there isn't that, Star Wars is not a right-left ideological battle in Star Wars, in Transformers versus Star Wars. And so,
lots of Decepticons, boom.
Yeah, exactly. Star Wars is definitely it's a victim of its own success is what it is. Anything that is just as massively successful on that scale, that sort of thing is going to happen. But
the biggest issue Star Wars faced is they threw too much at you at once and just started cramming it down your throat. I mean, it was so awesome when Force Awakens came out to see Star Wars on the shelves again. I was like, oh, this is, haven't seen this since 1999, or I guess that's when the prequels came out.
Yeah.
But then all of a sudden, okay, now they got Star Wars Vitamins, Star Wars this, and wait, here's a new Star Wars movie that's overlapping this Star Wars movie. Oh, it's just too much at once.
Yeah. I've always been, I'm kind of a Lucas purist. Although I really have enjoyed The Mandalorian a great deal. But I'm more of a Lucas purist. It was, to me, and I loved the Star Wars prequels, but I'm definitely, I was of the generation obviously of the original trilogy, so that's obviously my first love. But I enjoyed the prequels as a nice backstory to the originals, and then I hated the sequels. To me, in my head canon, they don't even count. I
liked Force Awakens, but then it just went too weird.
Well, they ruined Luke Skywalker, man, and when they ruined Luke Skywalker, I was out. So. It's old hat. I've had this discussion on a number of my buddies' YouTube channels that are more Star Wars exclusive many times. So, it's old hat, but yeah, I'm definitely a episode 1 through 6 in Mandalorian Star Wars fan. If you had to, nail me down to something. But as far as like Transformers and like the Transformers fan community goes, which is a great fan community, I'm not really active in that community per se, but I do have my favorite YouTubers. I do watch a lot of Transformer YouTubers, including you. But yes, but I love Rodimus Primal a great deal. I know you know him. I've never met him, but he just seems like a cool dude. And he's sort of my spirit animal because both him and I appreciate old Rodimus here. So I do love Rodimus Primal a lot. I used to call myself like jokingly sort of self promotion wise, and jokingly I used to call myself the funniest action figure reviewer on YouTuber. And then I started watching Fuse Transformer reviews, That dude is funny as shit. I love that dude. I watch his videos all the time. He's just hilarious, and he is so sharp-witted and just
His quick cut edits. I love those.
A lot of jump cuts, but he makes it work, man. I love his shit. Yeah, those would definitely be my two shout outs. And then of course you got to, I do love the basics. I'm sure you watch the basics all the time.
Oh yeah. McFeely.
Basics,
He's got such a soothing voice when talking about Transformers.
Yeah, he is great, man. He is great. So those are like my three Transformer channels outside of yours that I watch. And yeah, I mean, just good stuff, man. Just great community. And sometimes, sometimes it is nice because, like I said, because of what's going on with Star Wars, and I love Star Wars. I'll always love Star Wars. It is nice to sometimes hide in the Transformer universe a little bit because, it's just nicer. It's just a little nicer over here. I'm just saying. Yeah,
I'm gonna give Curtis some. Let's see. Here we go. The Clone Wars cartoon. Now I liked the prequels, but when this Clone Wars cartoon came out and I started watching that, it gave me a whole new appreciation for the prequels, especially when they brought Darth Maul back, because I love Darth Maul and I thought he was such a waste of a character. He should have been the villain throughout all three.
I don't disagree with that sentiment. I don't, and I love Christopher Lee as an actor. Holy shit, the man was Dracula, for Christ's sake. But I don't disagree with that sentiment. Darth Maul, they should have developed Darth Maul further. And I love the Clone Wars series as well. I should have mentioned that. I was kind of thinking more live action, but yeah.
Anything and everything.
Yeah, I do love the Clone Wars a lot. I wasn't as big of a fan on Rebels, and the only reason I didn't love Rebels is just because of the way that they treated the Empire in that series, because they kind of treated stormtroopers and the Empire like Keystone Cops too much. And it was like every episode, it was like, that this is a time when like the Empire is at its height, and the Empire should be just crushing them every episode. And our heroes should be lucky to get out with their lives every episode, because this is the Empire at its height. And instead they were just like, slapping stormtroopers around and, and graffitiing TIE fighters and, and
what was cool about Rebels, because like you, I hated it at first, but I've mentioned this many times, even regarding Transformer cartoons. Everyone starts off super kiddified. They're like, hey, it's a cartoon. The 6 to 10-year-olds are watching this. About episode 8, they're like, no, mom and dad have kicked the kids out. They're watching this. Because if you think Rebels was very kiddified, all of a sudden they're introducing what was he, the Inquisitor?
Yeah.
He was voiced by Jason Isaacs, my favorite bad guy from the Patriot.
Yeah.
And when he came in with that double-bladed lightsaber and beheaded both those officers, I'm like, okay, this show just went up a notch.
I didn't realize the voice actor was the same dude from the Patriot. Now it makes total sense. Like I can hear that voice in my head. Like, yeah, it's the bad dude from the Patriot. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's good stuff. No, the Rebels had a few, like, I wasn't a fan of the series overall, but it had some of the best Star Wars moments in it. Like the scene where they had, like the episode where I think it was called Twin Sons, when Ezra goes to Tatooine to seek out Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Mm-hmm. And Obi-Wan and Darth Maul had that fight.
Yeah, they have that fight, and it literally like is set up like a samurai movie. It's a samurai fight. It's 2 seconds and done. But it's not anticlimactic. It's just beautifully done. It's just like, I love that scene so much. And what I loved most about that scene, I'm a character guy. I'm a story guy. I loved the most about that scene was the compassion that Obi-Wan had for his mortal enemy, Darth Maul, at the end. Because he holds him in his arms as he dies. He closes his eyelids as he's passed, and just that is what a Jedi is. That compassion at the end, even though this was someone who had tried to kill him his entire life.
Yeah.
So I could talk about that all night. Sorry.
Oh, no. All right. Well, this is our last YouTube question. Then we'll go into the audience. Do you have any channel goals for yourself, and where can our viewers find you? This is your time to plug your channel.
Oh, nice, man. Nice. Well, thank you. I think I've already done that a bunch, but you can find me at KnickKnack's Plastic Planet right here on YouTube. I also have a Facebook page, but go to the channel first. I really would love the subs. Just subscribers, just the lifeblood of a channel. It just helps the channel. It just kicks it up in the YouTube algorithm a little bit, and that's what we all need as YouTubers. I just reached 1,000 subs this year. It took me a long time, but that's okay, man. That's okay. I don't have any specific goals going forward. I just want to keep making good content for people. And I just want to be a destination where people feel like they're hanging out with a friend. And that's really my goal on YouTube is to give people the kind of content where they feel like they're hanging out with a friend. And we're talking collectibles overall. And, not everybody. One thing I have learned about YouTube, and I've always been very blessed to have a circle of friends who were into collecting that I know, from high school and college, and we all hang out together. Haven't hanged out much because of COVID, but in a non-pandemic world, we do hang out together and we go on action figure runs. We've done that for 20 years, going back, to the 90s. I'm very blessed that I've had a group of friends like that. But one thing I've learned through YouTube is not everyone has that. And so I feel blessed that a lot of people look to me as that friend, and that I can be friends. And what's so amazing about YouTube and what is so cool about YouTube is I meet people like you in West Virginia. I'm in Colorado, but not just that. I've met friends from Australia, from Holland, from London, from Canada, all over the world, because we just have this common passion for plastic shit. And it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
See, we need to go to Washington because we do more world relations thanks to plastic crap than anything else.
Exactly. It is. It's a glue that bonds us. We all have differences. We're all human beings. We all have differences. We all have different, we all come from different socioeconomic backgrounds. We all have different political differences. We all have, different upbringings, but all of our love of this, this tactile, tangible plastic garbage that links us to our basically our safe space, these universes that are our safe space, whether we're talking Transformers or we're talking Star Wars or Marvel or DC Comics or whatever. These tactile pieces of plastic, it's a bridge. It's a bridgeway to our dreams, and it's a bridgeway to our friendships. And it's a beautiful thing. I'm kind of waxing poetic a little bit on you.
Hey, man, that's perfect because you hit the nail on the head. And it's also like you're back in school, because when you're hopping on YouTube, it's like, hey, look what I found today. Let me tell you about it.
Right. It is. It's like we're all back in third grade again. It's all like we're all back in third grade, and and you're showing off what your mom picked you up at Skaggs drug store the night before. I don't know if you ever had a Skaggs. We had Skaggs. It's a weird sounding drugstore. It kind of sounds like a bad case of VD. But
I had an Eckerd.
I've heard of Eckerd. Yeah, Skaggs
is Eckerd to get the Skaggs.
Yeah, Skaggs is out of business, but I always thought that was just a weird sounding name.
Oh
man, my crotch itches might be a bad case of the Skaggs, but no, it was a drugstore growing up. So,
no, my big one, my places to shop around here back in the day was, of course, we had Hex, Roses, Hills. And what was the hell? It was like a Western Auto. That's where I got my Sunstreaker back there.
Oh, nice. I've never heard of those places, man. See, you're in a way different part of the country than I am, though.
Yeah.
I grew up with KB Toys, Toys R Us. Those are the big ones we had. But Skaggs and Osco Drug and Kmart. Those were, a little more, I guess, a little more mainstream, maybe retail wise. But yeah.
All right. Well, that's pretty much it for my 10 questions. We've been at this for an hour, so good job. Does anybody have anything they want to ask? We'll throw it to the wolves for a bit.
Just be nice, though. I'm sensitive.
Just be nice.
I'm sensitive.
I will delete your ass so fast. I like this one. Here we go.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
I hate you and you hate me, but do you like this?
Yeah. Who doesn't love Warpath, man? It's the bridge that bonds us, man. It's all good stuff. It's all good stuff.
Do you mod up your 1-up machines?
I do. Well, not too much. Like I do. I've done like arcade 1-up reviews, and you know what? Arcade 1-up reviews if I throw up an arcade 1-up review, it's like the one thing on my channel that'll get like 1,000+ views. I've only got 1,000 subs, so that's a lot. But I don't really like doing them in the fact that it brings in, like, I'm an action figure guy. I'm not a gamer. I'm not a hardcore gamer. But it'll bring in these gamers, and they're just like, and they're always like, they always think they're the smartest guy in the room. They'll always be like, For the price you paid for that arcade one up, for $40, you could have bought an emulator and a Raspberry Pi and put 4,000 games on it. So you're kind of stupid. But so I don't mod my games in that respect, but I did like my Pac-Man machine over here. Here's my lunchbox. I did put some that is a modded decal on it. That front, the kick plate there is a modded decal, and so is the whole front side of it. So that's something I bought off.
Now, of course, my eye went right to the VHS Dinobot SOS Dinobot.
Yeah, I forgot to show this on. This was also from my childhood. See, I'm a hoarder. Yeah, SOS Dinobots from FHE. Look at that. This is from my childhood as well. So good stuff. And the corners are a little worn. I mean, this is 30 years old.
Everybody's gonna see my. Oh, look at that beautiful visitor outfit.
That is awesome. That is awesome. Little V.
What's your favorite one-up game
that I own? Maybe it kind of goes back and forth. I have been really enjoying. Oh shit! I'm about to lose Rodimus there. I'm really enjoying my Super Pac-Man machine that you see right there. It's just got a lot of different games on it. It's got Galaga, Galaxian. It's got Pac-Land and Super Pac-Man and a regular Pac-Man on it. I play that one a lot. I also played my Final Fight one. I've got a Final Fight cab back there, and that's all Capcom games. It's got Arcade Ghosts and Goblins. It's got 1944 The Loop Master on it, and it's got Strider on it. Strider's a little weird. But that's a good cab too. So those would definitely be my two favorites right now. I do have a Space Invaders cab, and the only two games it came with was Space Invaders in color and Space Invaders in black and white. But it looks awesome. That's why I own it. It just looks cool.
I remember the first time I saw Space Invaders was in Myrtle Beach, way back when, and there was just a line of people playing that thing.
I heard that there's the urban legends of people in like the country of Japan running out of quarters, or their equivalent of a quarter back in 1978 when it came out. I don't know if that's true or not, but there's those stories.
Do I have a favorite Seth Rogen movie? I'm trying to think who that is. If it's no. He's not one of my favorites.
I liked him in The Interview. That's the one with.
Isn't he in the one where the apocalypse hit? There's like a bunch of the comedians at the end.
Yeah,
of
I think this is the end. Yeah, I think so.
I like that one.
Yeah, that's a good movie. Yeah, I liked the Interview with him and James Franco, and the guy from The Office played Kim Jong-un, and they go to North Korea for the interview, and there's that great scene when he's trying to stick the drone makes a drop, and he's trying to stick a transmitter up his ass, and there's a white tiger stalking him in the darkness. Great fucking scene. Sorry, but yeah,
I need to see that one.
It's a good movie. I think it was on Netflix a while ago. It's a great movie. It's just fun. It's stupid fun.
Where they got so worried about North Korea that they pulled it from the theaters, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I know what you're talking about now.
That's right. That's right.
Do we have a favorite underrated IP that we wish we had more merch to buy from?
Oh, I can answer that. There's a few things I would really like. I actually talked about this on my own YouTube channel, on my own live stream last week on Knick-Knack Live with my buddies. I really wish that I could get a 1/6 scale. Again, it's a robot. A 1/6 scale Johnny 5 from Short Circuit. I think there's been some custom mods of that, but I would love a real, like, really nice, like Hot Toys quality Johnny 5 action figure.
Now, these aren't as much action figures, but I wish some company, I know Jada Toys makes so many of these Hollywood rides. I would love some 1980s Road Warrior vehicles.
That would be cool.
Which also I think would be a fantastic Transformer
crossover. Absolutely.
Transformers Apocalypse.
That would be cool. Yeah, I do. One of the other thing I've really been collecting heavy on lately has been just 80s kind of 80s toys. Like I bought some NECA Gremlins. I bought some Back to the Future. I love the Back to the Future NECA stuff's pretty good. I've been buying a ton of Godzilla lately. So a lot of good shit out there, man. A lot of good shit.
Godzilla and King Kong stuff out now.
Oh, they do.
I'll admit, I absolutely lost my shit when I saw these out in Pops.
Oh, those are cool. Those are really cool.
And of course, I went and bought these. And then, of course, that's when I went out and got the original 84 Visitor with the face you can peel off.
Dude, that is beautiful.
I was so happy to get this guy. I mean, the box was beat up, but I mean, that gave me more of an excuse to get the figure out.
Right. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, I had the same experience. I bought this off eBay recently, and the box was so thumped, I actually took the figure out, but I picked up this. This is Dukes of Hazzard Luke Duke Mego figure.
Oh my God, I remember those.
Yeah, because I just restored this piece right here. I got this off eBay, and I spent like $50 for the Mego car. And, some people might consider the sacrilege, but I cleaned it up. I mean, it was covered in dirt. I cleaned it up. I got some repro stickers for it. And then, of course, I had to get Bo and Luke the Mego figures for it. And, yeah, just absolutely gorgeous piece. So that's a crown jewel that I've picked up recently. It's definitely an underrated 80s IP that I would love to collect more of.
This is a question for you. I'm not sure what he's talking about, though. Do you know all three different poltroons?
Poltroons. I don't know what he's referring to. I'm sorry. Poltroons. I don't know. Yeah, I'd love to answer that. I'm not sure what he's referring to.
Oh, yeah. My buddy Fire Talks here. He has a upgrade set that you can turn the roller drone into Johnny Five or an evil Johnny Five.
That's awesome. Yeah. I love that movie. The second one was stupid, but I love the first one, man. First Short Circuit is. Oh, Voltron. 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 So what was the question again?
Which version?
Oh, he was talking about palindromes, I think. I do have behind me. I do have all the original Panache Place Voltron pilots from the original Voltron. Princess Allura, Keith, Lance, Pidge, and Hunk. So I do have. They're from my childhood. I do have my original Panache Place Voltron pilots or palindromes. But yeah, no, cool stuff. Good stuff. I do
something. I have one toy up here that survived through my childhood. See if you recall one of these, the Flash Gordon Starship.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Is
that diecast?
Yeah,
oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love the little ting ting ting. That's awesome.
I mean, it's beat up, but this was one of my favorites as a kid. Played with this all the time. I was over at my parents' last year, and I saw it laying downstairs in the basement on a shelf. I'm like, yoink, it's coming home.
That's great. I have I think I have a Buck Rogers Starship somewhere too, a little tiny diecast Buck Rogers Starship somewhere.
Now, I think you reviewed these, but when I found this online, I about shit myself too, because this here robot terrified me as a kid.
Maximilian from the Black Hole. Yeah.
I love this figure.
Yeah, didn't you love it when Disney used to make really edgy shit?
Oh, yeah.
I
mean, I was 7 when I watched him drill a hole through Anthony Perkins.
Right. I actually didn't. This is kind of funny, but that was one of those movies that I actually didn't see until I was an adult. But I loved the Black Hole as a kid because I had the read-along record. So I actually never saw the movie as a kid, but I had the read-along record.
There are so many. You're talking about NECA figures, Barbarella figures.
Barbarella. Dude,
did you see where they're doing Conan figures from the Arnold movie?
I did. Those are cool.
Tulsa Doom, Conan.
Yeah, those are cool. Jane Fonda and Barbarella. She was, at that time in the late 60s, she was the most beautiful woman on earth, man. Jeez.
Well, let's see. It is 11 o'clock here. So
it's getting late for you, man.
I've got to get myself to bed.
This is usually when I start my live stream, actually, about now.
Well, before we end, once again, thank you so much for hopping on. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, man.
This was a blast. We clicked. I knew we would click. I messaged you that. I said, I just have a feeling we're going, oh, wait, Cato. Yeah, I forgot. Cato's a good friend of mine, and he sent me the text where they've released these Defenders of the Earth figures. They got the new Ming and Flash.
Yeah, good stuff.
NECA is awesome toys, but you got to heat them up in some hot water before you can even move them around.
Yeah, I know. I bought an ET about 6 months ago and broke the arms right off of it.
I've got all of my Terminators. I just need Sarah Connor and I guess they're not Terminators, but you know what I mean.
No, I know what you mean. I have the T800 Terminator, and the damn thing won't stand up. It pisses me off. I put it on stands. Everything just falls over.
Dude, That's what we need, a Marvel Legends circuit breaker. Do you remember circuit breaker from the
Of
comics?
course, from the Marvel comics, yeah.
She was hot. She was like
She was smoking hot. She was all she had.
Diana from V, you know.
Yeah, she had the whole. She was like got in a freak accident. She like blamed the Transformers and
Shockwave.
Yeah, that's right. It was early on in the comic series, wasn't it? It was like
issue number 6.
Okay, there you go. I actually have a bunch of I almost brought them out. I wish I would have, because I was like thinking I'd do a little show and tell with you. Maybe if I ever come back on, we'll talk a little Marvel comics.
We'll probably have you on with a bunch of others.
Yeah, I would love to. I'd love to be on. But no, I've got a big stack of Marvel Transformer comics, the originals from when I was a kid. In fact, I was watching one of your videos today, and you had the Dinobots versus Trypticon hung up in your room. I don't know if you still have that hung up in your room.
Yeah, it's over there. And my issue number 3.
Yeah,
that's my first experience with the Transformers right there.
That is awesome. But yeah, that Dinobots versus Trypticon, when they made Grimlock the leader, which was really out of like, where the fuck did that come from? That was so out of left field. But I love
that's why I like Marvel so much better than the cartoon as far as story wise, because Marvel went everywhere.
They went weird places.
Plus, if it wasn't for Marvel, that's what fleshed out the Pretenders. See, I love the Pretenders.
Yeah,
but it was just based on the toys, and I didn't have any background to those characters.
Right. No, I remember there was one issue of the Marvel comics. They turned Grimlock into this fucking tyrant, right? And he was going to execute children off a space platform. And I think Skylinks rescues them, but it was crazy. Like
walking the plank.
Yeah.
Also, he could capture Blaster.
Yeah. You remember better than I do. Yeah. It's good shit, man. Such good shit.
All right, well, we're going to start talking again for another hour.
No, I'm sorry. I don't mean that.
We will do this again for sure. I don't
mean to string it out. Yeah.
All right. Well, once again, thank you so much for hopping on. Thanks you again. In the chat, thank you so much for watching. Check out KnickKnack's Planet, KnickKnack's Plastic Planet. There's a description in the link of this video. I know Kato's hit it up many times in the chat. Very entertaining channel. He covers everything. You never know what you're going to get on the Plastic Planet.
Nice
and guys, once again, I want to thank you all for watching. This is Patriot Prime signing out. Hooah! Now we do that odd pause as I end the broadcast.